stop what you're doing right now because this story will completely change the way you see courage, integrity, and the power of doing what's right. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Stories of Kindness, because what you're about to witness is unforgettable. It all started on a cold, gray morning in the city courthouse. Michael Hayes, a 32-year-old single father, walked into the courtroom with his little daughter Emma tightly holding his hand. He had been fighting for custody of Emma for over a year after her mother had tragically passed away in a car accident. Michael had dedicated his life to raising her with love, discipline, and warmth, even while juggling 2 jobs just to make ends meet. He wasn't wealthy, he wasn't influential, but he was fiercely devoted to his daughter, and that devotion had led him to this courtroom, where the most important decision of his life would be made. The courtroom was packed. Reporters had gathered to cover the custody case because the opposing party, Michael's late wife's estranged brother, was a wealthy businessman with the means to fight aggressively. Michael's heart pounded as he glanced at Emma, who looked up at him with innocent eyes. She didn't understand the stakes, but her tiny fingers clutched his hand as if she did. Judge Harrison, a stern woman in her mid-50s, presided over the case. She had a reputation for being fair but unsentimental, a judge who sometimes let the law override the human heart. Michael had hoped she would see the love he had for Emma, but as the hearing began, he realized the situation was more complicated than he had imagined. After listening to the lawyers, Judge Harrison leaned forward, her expression hard but calculating. "Mr. Hayes," she said, fixing him with a sharp gaze, "you're a good father, and I recognize your dedication. But the law does not only consider love, it considers stability, resources, and the ability to provide. Your ex-wife's brother is willing to offer financial support and a lavish lifestyle for Emma, which you cannot match at this moment." Michael swallowed hard, trying to keep his composure. "Your Honor, I may not have money, but I can give her a home full of love, safety, and guidance. Isn't that what truly matters for a child?" Judge Harrison's eyes softened just slightly. "I understand your point, Mr. Hayes, but here is what I am willing to offer, a solution that may surprise you. I can grant you full custody of Emma today, but there is a condition. It is not illegal, but some may call it immoral. You see, the opposing party is willing to make a significant financial contribution if you agree to marry a woman of his choosing, someone he believes will help raise Emma properly. This would secure her future materially, but it would compromise your personal integrity and freedom. The choice is yours." Michael froze. His stomach churned and his mind raced. He had faced many challenges before, working nights, facing financial struggles, and enduring sleepless nights caring for Emma. But this was something else entirely. To accept would mean sacrificing his independence and being trapped in a life he didn't want, all for the sake of money and convenience. To refuse would risk losing Emma to someone who could provide her material wealth but could never replace the love and bond they shared. The courtroom was silent. Emma, unaware of the gravity of the situation, fidgeted in her seat. Michael took a deep breath, feeling the weight of every decision he had ever made pressing down on him. He could feel his pulse in his throat, every heartbeat screaming for him to protect his daughter without compromising his soul. Judge Harrison's eyes never left him. "Mr. Hayes, I expect an answer. Think carefully. Time is of the essence." For a moment, Michael thought about the financial security he could provide Emma if he accepted the deal. He thought about bills, education, and a life free of constant worry. But then he looked at Emma's face, the tiny nose scrunching as she yawned, the little hands that only he had kissed and comforted every night. He realized that no amount of money could ever replace the life they had built together, the love that had grown between them, the laughter they shared, and the trust he had earned in her eyes. He stood tall, his voice steady but full of emotion. "Your Honor, I will not accept this deal. I refuse to compromise my values, and I refuse to put my freedom or integrity above my daughter's need for a father who loves her unconditionally. Emma is my daughter, and no financial offer or coercion will ever change that. I will continue to provide for her to the best of my ability, and I will fight for her with everything I have." A murmur ran through the courtroom. The opposing lawyer's jaw tightened, and even Judge Harrison looked momentarily taken aback. Michael felt a wave of relief mixed with fear. Relief that he had remained true to himself, fear that this choice might cost him everything. Judge Harrison leaned back in her chair, her expression inscrutable. After a long pause, she finally spoke. "Mr. Hayes, your decision is unexpected, but it is also admirable. Many would have chosen the easier path, one paved with money and comfort. You have chosen the path of integrity and genuine love. After reviewing all factors, I am granting you full custody of Emma. You have proven that wealth cannot replace a father's devotion. Court is adjourned. The courtroom erupted with whispers, and some of the spectators even clapped softly. Michael felt his knees weaken, but he caught himself just in time. He rushed to Emma, scooping her into his arms as tears welled in both their eyes. "We're going home, sweetheart," he whispered, his voice breaking with relief and joy. Emma hugged him tightly, giggling through tears. "Daddy, we did it," she said, her tiny arms wrapping around his neck. Michael laughed, the sound catching in his throat, and hugged her, even tighter. In that moment, he realized that the choice he had made, though difficult and risky, was worth every sleepless night, every sacrifice, and every struggle. He had preserved the most important thing in his life, the bond with his daughter. As they walked out of the courthouse, reporters tried to ask questions, but Michael gently shielded Emma. He knew their lives would continue to be challenging, but the foundation of love, trust, and integrity they had built was unshakable. The story of the single dad who refused an immoral deal spread quickly, inspiring many to recognize that doing the right thing, no matter how difficult, was always worth it. That night, back at their modest apartment, Michael tucked Emma into bed. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "No deal in the world could ever replace our love, Emma. Remember that, always." Emma smiled, her eyes closing as she drifted into sleep. Michael stayed by her side for a while longer, reflecting on the day's events. He felt exhausted, but his heart was full. Michael knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be bills to pay, challenges to face, and moments of doubt. But he also knew that he had shown his daughter the true meaning of courage and integrity. He had shown her that sometimes, the right choice is the hardest one to make, but it is also the one that builds character, trust, and an unbreakable bond. As the camera panned out, showing Michael sitting beside Emma's bed, a gentle voiceover could be imagined. This is the story of a father who chose love over money, integrity over convenience, and courage over fear. In a world that often values wealth over heart, this single dad reminds us that true riches are found in the love we give and the choices we make. Before the video ends, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Stories of Kindness to keep watching stories that touch your heart, inspire your soul, and remind you of the power of human kindness.